In mid-February, I took a trip north with friends to visit a place I've wanted to go to for a long time. That location is the Chicagoland area, and in this three-part series, I'll be covering all the trains and all the places that I saw along the trip. With this first volume, we'll be covering the northwest and northern suburbs of Chicago. Jumping right into the action, the first place we set down was Bensenville, Illinois, which is just north of Chicago O'Hare Airport. This is along the Union Pacific Milwaukee subdivision, and the first train that came by was a northbound Union Pacific Manifest, with a good variety of power as well. front of our unit manifest was a loaded sand train. I don't necessarily know what railroad this train was operating under, but I can only guess it was either Union Pacific or Canadian Pacific, as those are the two railroads that run on this line. With our two freight trains out of the way, I decided to want to head a little closer to downtown Chicago and set up at CP Morgan, where we got the inbound Amtrak Hiawatha coming in with one of the F40 NPCU cabbages leading. We ended up cutting our time at CP Morgan short, but for good reason. One of the biggest things I wanted to see on this trip was Metra and their vast variety of commuter rail power. So we went out to Clybourn along the UP lines and saw some trains coming in and out of Chicago. Clybourn is where the UP Northwest and the UP North lines for Metra converge, and after the train on the Northwest line went out, a train on the North line went in, and this had the Chicago and Northwestern Heritage Unit pushing. One thing I noticed through my time along the Metra system is that the northern lines tend to use a lot of the F59 PHIs on the roster. And here's another example as UP North Train 811 comes in with Unit 75 polling. With nothing on the UP lines for a while, it was time to move back along the CP lines of the Metra system, and here at Tower A2, we made it just in time for the next outbound Hiawatha as it began its journey north to Milwaukee. Just north of Tower A2, and where I'm currently standing, is the Metra Western Avenue station, which serves the Milwaukee District West and Milwaukee District North. Here's train 2714 on the Milwaukee District West, coming in for its second to last station stop. And this train had one of the main reasons I was so excited to see Metra trains on this trip. The F40PH is still running in Notch 8 to generate heft for the coaches. It's a sight and sound to behold. In addition to the screaming F40s, Metra has some newer power to supplement the roster and keep the trains moving in the volume they need to. Here's an MP36 pushing on the Milwaukee District North train. Another great thing about setting up at Western Ave and Tower A2 is the fact that the Union Pacific line has its coach yard right there. In this case, we saw a transfer job bringing some coaches in for servicing, with a GP15 doing the honors. These seem to be the motor of choice for these little transfer jobs, as you don't need a whole lot of horsepower. But now back to the mainline action, and coming in is another Amtrak Hiawatha from Milwaukee. This service is the busiest short-haul Chicago-based Amtrak Midwest train and runs up to 7 daily round trips. This particular train had the Veterans NPCU cabbage leading, which is one of the units I was hoping to see running on this trip. After a short wait, it was time for the next two Milwaukee District trains to come out of Chicago Union Station. The first one being Milwaukee District West train 2711, that same F40 that we saw just about an hour ago. Right after the West train was Milwaukee District North train 2611 with another of the Metra Heritage units. This time it was the Milwaukee Road. At this point, it was just about 3 p.m., and knowing that the Empire Builder departs Chicago at 3:05, we decided to move out a few miles further along the line to see them come through at speed. This particular Empire Builder had two ALC-42s sandwiched in between the P-42s for power. Now we're about 10 miles out from Chicago along the CP-C&M subdivision here at Edgebrook Station, and another Hiawatha is coming out behind the Empire Builder. This is that same set with the Vets NPCU at the bottom. The reason we came out to Edgebrook will soon be revealed, but first, in front of the train that I was waiting for was another inbound Metra train along the Milwaukee District North, train 2614, which had another Amtrak F40 PHI pushing. Now that Metra was out of the way, it was time for the train of the day for me. One thing that I've wanted to see as soon as I figured out this trip was happening was Amtrak's new ALC-42s running solo on the Empire Builder. And sure enough, on train number 8 today, it was two ALCs leading the charge into Chicago 20 minutes early. Engines 308 and 310, the new face of Amtrak's long-distance passenger fleet. Now when you're in new territory, and you know there's more trains coming, you don't leave. So, with the knowledge that there was one more Hiawatha behind the builder, we stayed back and caught him racing through Edgebrook at track speed. With the need to move back south to meet up with our friends coming out from Chicago on Metra for dinner, we ended up setting down at Bensenville again to see their train arrive into the station. However, before we could take off for dinner, a late-running train caught us by surprise. Canadian Pacific Train 253, running with a Norfolk Southern motor in the lead. Volume 1 of my Chicagoland Railfan series. Hope you enjoyed all the action and all the things that were new to me while I was up here, and stay tuned for the second and third parts coming out not too far from now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.